And we're back. So it's the final game of the DTC Leviathan Commander event. So on the left you have Hugo Scaramelli playing Baral, and on the right Deltour playing Vial Kraum. So yeah, it's the final. In the previous match we saw Norzet against Louis Deltour playing Vial Kraum, and Louis won 2-1. On the left, Baral is trying to win thanks to polymorphism or that kind of spells, because he also have well, what's the name again? Well, he has some other spells that basically do the same as the polymorphism, and that can allow you to get Emrakul on the board.
Reweave, and he's gonna keep his lightning bolt as a secret tech for later, so I suppose.
On the right, as long as Hugo doesn't have the mana to have Baral and play polymorphism to get Emrakul on the board, he's safe. So he can spam his commanders and try to get Hugo out of any kind of spells in hand, and pressure him and just win the game, grind the game. Luis basically trying to grind the game while Hugo has a one-shot plan. As long as
these shackles are going to be pissing Luis off, seriously.
Yeah.
This shackle can now take any commander right now. So 5 valence is enough. So this is cool.
A huge stretch, because if he has shackles on the board, Louis cannot spam his commanders, and he will have to wait. The waiting game versus mono blue is generally a bad idea. It's
this could go back to the very bottom of the libraries, actually. So this is going to be complicated. But if it depends if how early Hugo sees an Emrakul in his hand, so he has to discard and reshuffle everything. So he's got a chance to replay everything with no islands into the library. So this never ends, and he cannot lose a game. So you have to go for the beat down. And we forgot the timers, by the way. But
okay, so now Louis has to find a way to break the Velikan shackles. In his colors, he doesn't have that many removals.
Did we say, Leo, that the last round is the one that the judges and the organizers chose to have no time limits? Because that's the confirmation we got from the organizers right now. This is normal, you have no time limits. So
2 hours of game incoming.
Cool. We have a mono blue deck that doesn't get milled, trying to play with infinite time. All right. And the players already.
I really think he was going to try to kill 4 earlier than that. So Aetlan, does he have his land on the left? Because that's important. Lands are what allow you to play many spells and make sure you don't just. Oh my god! So that's gonna be.
There's another stuff we need to be caring about, is that Hugo clearly has more counter spells and stack reaction effects than Luis has.
And
Luis using
cards on the board
like Demonic Tutor and some Planeswalkers, 1 or 2, which is going to make him delayed compared to what Hugo is going to do. So I think in the end, Hugo's got more control than Louis.
Yeah, well, Hugo plays a lot more counter spells, and Hugo managed to have 2 of his best cards in the matchup on the board. And actually, I'm not even sure there's any answer to Future Sight in Valkrum's deck. Maybe he plays Eugene or Nickel Blast or something like that, but I'm not even sure. Having the list could help us confirm that, because he's probably not playing that many removals for Velikan shackles already, and dealing with Future Sight will be just it's going to be so hard. And Future Sight
is about how many lands you hit on the top deck. because you got to reveal everything and you've got to break your opponent's mind, which is hard with Lewis. But you can say counterspell in hand, land. Oh, top deck land. I play the land from the top deck, free card.
Okay,
And
so
that's gonna be
Demonic
crazy.
Tutor. Let's see what he's going to fetch, and that's going to be a hard choice. With a Eugene or something like that, he can get rid of both of Hugo's threats. But the issue is that managing to get one of those Planeswalker for 8 mana on the board against mono blue control, that's going to be hardcore. So maybe he's going to try to find a cheapest solution, but then he will probably have to choose between breaking the Vulcan Shakers or Future Sight. So yeah, the game is already going really well for Hugo. Has a clear edge on the game. We'll see what Louis wants to play. In his fetching for Jace the Sculptor. So he's going for the card advantage war. It's a cheap permanent that he can protect quite easily because Hugo doesn't have, well, he only has Baral and Amracle as creatures. So he can bounce Jace, try to counter it, and that's all. As long as Louis doesn't play any creatures, he cannot get any creature with Vulcan Shackles, and he cannot manage to deal with Jace. Or maybe he plays the Malans like Mutavault and Michel's Factory. I'm not even sure. So counterspell battle, and Hugo just managed to win it. And now he's going to untap with Future Sight on the board. That's gonna be hardcore. If he can manage to have some lands on the top, some counter spells, okay, so that's Engulf the Shore, I think. Not really interesting in the matchup, and especially in that current situation. If he can maybe play a country,
he just pushes his deck. He's just digging so deep into his deck. That's crazy. It's just like something like 15 cards in 2 turns. It's just crazy. And of course, the Shackles can now take everything. We're close to the Shackles getting an Emrakul soon. So.
Okay, so he just revealed 3 land, Cryptic and Engulf the Shore. So he's going both Cryptic and Engulf the Shore. Send Australian in the battlefield. He reads an island, he can play it right away. Now it's an island and not a counterspell, so it's a bit disappointing, but it's already pretty strong. And it's gonna allow him to make so much card advantage during the game.
That's crazy. I think both players are playing 41 lands, I suppose, so it's gonna be draw go until the end. But Vial Smasher cannot reshuffle his libraries. So
he just cannot say draw go, because if he says that, you guys would just play one other turn, make tons of card advantage with Future Sight, and at some point he will manage to play Baral and get Emrakul. It's just impossible. Does
he want to? Does he really want to? He can just play here for infinite time. I don't know if he's conscious of that. He can wait for infinite time, and Louis doesn't have enough bolt damage into his pack to make 30 damage. So,
well, he could do that, but that would be so
mystical
awful.
Teachings. Ooh, that's interesting.
Do you imagine just winning because you waited for your opponent to do something during the entire game until he draws his 99 cards? Just no, please, no.
Actually, that's going to happen fast, especially since he fetch lands, especially since he uses digging effects like bats. That happens pretty fast. Both players skip pretty fast. They didn't want to split, so they had to play the game. So the guy on the right is going to have to play the game until the end. So
he could even have played his post spike on the top just to reveal something more. It just cost him 1 mana, forces Louis to pay 1. And it allows him to reveal 1 more card and maybe make some more card advantage, because it's not that interesting for him to draw this 4 spike.
Oh, I know something that could change the tides. Does Hugo play Dust Ball?
Oh, it's one of the greatest cards.
He has the Wasteland, and I don't think he plays the Crucible of Worlds. But does he play Dust Bowl? Because that's gonna change the game.
Yeah,
if there is a Dust Bowl on the battlefield,
on the board.
Considering Louis doesn't have a Wasteland yet, and Hugo has his Wasteland, so as a protection, he wastes his waste in the case he lands it, and then boom, because so Dust Bowl is a game over.
On Baral, he's trying to prevent Hugo from coming off, and it's a rewind from Hugo. And now he's okay. So draw the Force Spike, discard the Anger of the Shore, which is still useless at that point. So yeah, Louis still has his Jace in hand, and he will need to find an opportunity at some point. Maybe the fact that Hugo already has 3 land taps and that he has to move now, or at least quickly, because with Baral and Future Sight on the board, Hugo is just getting, well, he will get out of control at a really high speed. So Jace, which will probably run into some kind of counterspell. So he's hesitating on playing Crypt Command right away, but he could even just play Mana Leak for 1 from the top of his deck to force him to pay 3 more right away, and use a card that he doesn't even have in hand and reveal something more. So now Cryptic Command that runs into Counterspell. So what he's going to do? He can still pay 1 for no. He's not even trying to keep countering it. So I don't know why he's not trying a bit harder, but I don't know. I don't see his whole hand. There's a Force Pack into the Roy. Okay, so he's maybe planning on bouncing it at the end of turn. Is that a treachery? Maybe. I'm not sure. So end of turn, bounce, draw 1. With the memory lapse. On his turn, he's gonna do some more card advantage, I guess. And an island. What a guy. So play island, remove 1 more card. Oh, and that's a card you like. Okay, you like recycling it, I guess, but playing it for 1 is fine too. It's free anyway. So he has to reveal the first one, but he doesn't have to reveal the second one, which is going to be a surprise. So 1 more island on the top. Yeah, you'll have to be a bit more specific to display Baral. And that's it. So yeah, as we said, Louis is still trying to play some more Planeswalkers because they are quite hard to deal with Hugo, as he doesn't have many creatures or blasts or removals or anything like that. But he's still mono blue, playing tons of bounces and counter spells, and with a Future Sight and Baral on the table. So, well, that's already huge. So we just brought some more lights so that we could see the players a bit more, but now I'm seeing some cards of the graveyard especially well. So we're just trying to fix the light and, well, have it better for you. So you see, I think it's a Synthetic Destiny on the top of Baral's deck, which can allow him to get Emrakul, but he's going to shuffle it to get 3 cards with flashback. in his graveyard and make some more card advantage. Yeah, I think that's it. He's doing it just DoxFX way. He's not even trying to kill by now. He's just making tons of card advantage. At some point, we will just have nothing he can play, no outs for Hugo, and maybe concede. Or maybe he's going to play Intuition, getting all three of his ways to get Emrakul on the board, and he's going to want to kill. But I'm not even sure he's trying to kill at that point, actually. Oh, he's taking some kills. He's taking Teferi, Jace. So it seems that he's trying to kill his opponent, which is cool because we don't want to be here for 15 hours watching just a mono blue waiting. So Teferi and Jace in the graveyard, and I'm not sure what he took in his hand. So I'm gonna ask a confirmation about what he's taking on Intuition, because I don't really recognize that image. So yeah, he stops shuffling, reveals Jace Ingenuity on the top of his deck, which is again one great card because end of Louis' turn, he's just going to be able to draw again more. So now he's playing that unknown card. And I'm waiting for the confirmation. He chose to use the depenalizes during his turn, so he has the Jace Ingenuity in his hand now, and he won't be able to play it from the top and use it to make some more card advantage during Louis' turn. I thought he would like to optimize the card advantage from future side, but he's already so above in card advantage anyway that maybe he doesn't care anyway. So now, out of turn, flashback from Mystical Teachings. So Guillaume is going to show the card Hugo played so that we can have a confirmation on what it is. Out of turn, so he managed to... Okay, so Jace Sanctum, so that his spells cost even one less and he can strike. So it goes with Baral. End of turn, he managed to... fetch with, play his Mystical Teaching, and now he's trying to replay again Jace. And it's gonna be a Counterspell battle. So flashback from Flash of Insight, I guess. And he's even removing his skills from the game, which is unusual because he could get them back by shuffling his deck with Emrakul. So he doesn't care. It seems that he's trying to find an answer really hard because he just removed something like 15 cards. So yeah, a lot of cards to choose from. Counterspell battle incoming, but even if he loses the Counterspell battle, it's not that of a problem because he can still bounce Jace, and Jace won't just break him particularly fast. It's a way to get back into the game, make some card advantage too, and not lose too hard. But Hugo can still find tons of bounces, and just prevent Jace from doing really impacting things during the whole game. So actually, he should shuffle the cards before putting them back on the bottom of the library. I think if you follow the rules. But most people don't care about it. In a matchup where you play where you draw a lot, it could be impacting because the player could put the most interesting cards on the top and at some point run to them, but he's going to shuffle his deck way before that. He has 99 cards, so well, that's probably not going to happen. But with 60 cards, that's something you will want to watch carefully with some cascade spells, for example. So now he even has his bounce on top of his deck. So hey, you found it. Louis cannot even tap out that much because he would be taking the risk of not being able to make a counterspell battle or removal battle during Hugo's turn or at the end of his turn if Hugo tries to fetch Emrakul. So an turn bounce. And Louis used the go for the throat for Baral, but he doesn't even care. He has the Jace Sanctum on the board, and he can just replay Baral because he's not under pressure. Louis is, and that's interesting in the current situation. So every time he plays a spell, remember he has a scry 1, so that's why he revealed the card and just put it back on under the deck, and now he's resolving the fact of fiction. Okay, so Louis says, okay, just anything but a huge draw engine that could allow you to draw 20 cards. But that's still what Hugo gets. Most of the time, you would want to take the 4 cards pack, but here the thing is that Bruce and Zenith is going to allow him to make way more advantage than choosing the 4 cards choice. Now, obviously, he has way too many cards in hand, so he's going to discard Treachery and a card that we didn't see. And it's back on Louis' tour, where he's just going to just keep replaying Jace, and where Hugo is probably just going to not care. Well, almost. So in response, Glimmer of Genius, I think. Yeah. So scry 2 and then draw 2.
And don't forget you get 2 energy counters. This is really, really crucial.
I'm sure he will do something with it in the matchup.
I'm pretty sure they won't even note them on the battlefield.
And he drew an island, an impulse. And it's a pull from tomorrow from Amonkhet on the top of his deck. So again, one more huge draw engine.
And he's already
okay. He's going to just put it on another deck. He has his Blue Suns in it in hand, so it's okay, I guess. But it's still nice. He's making so much card advantage at that point that.
Yeah, this is just plain bullshit until the end. But you can still watch the game if you want. Come back in 1 hour, we'll still be there.
And I think it's a negate, a full-out negate that just got rid of Jace.
Yep.
And he has his Revive on top indeed, so he should be able to get his Emrakul some part of the game. What is that spell that Louis is trying to play? Is that fact of fiction?
Yeah. He's resolving it.
Nice. So I see Ponder, Duras. And
yeah, the Duress is not going to happen.
Kurgan command, which can break an artifact. So it could get rid of...
Can kill shackles.
Can shackles,
which is a little late.
Yeah, and on the other side is Duress, and I'm not sure about it. And we won't be able to see it right now due to the reflections on the card. So I'm just going to ask Guillaume what it was. And now Ponder. Now he has a solution to vacuum shackles, and that's exactly what he wants, to be able to start spamming his commanders and make some card advantage on his side.
Yeah, you have to reveal. Future sight is tricky. You have to keep revealing everything you do. So you don't draw like that, like, yeah, I draw. No, no, no. You reveal, and you reveal all the time, even while you're drawing.
So yeah, end of turn, Jason Ingenuity as planned. Oh, he has a medallion in hand now. So one more.
That was what I'm going to say. The medallion is just what he was missing in terms of cost reduction. Medallion, repel a Baral, and play blue stuff.
My God, first of all.
3 generic mana reduction. Cool.
I really don't know how we can come back in this game, honestly.
So here comes the fatty, but you need more than this, because you need to be ready for a card spell battle. And he's trying to, because if America got exiled, for example, good luck for win then. But yep, that was the one.
The issue is that he exiled his Teferi and Jace, which he could have taken back if he was facing any issues with America.
So spoiler alert, this is going to be the same game on game 2, I believe. But
okay,
let's put some money on the table.
He's just going to play it because he's gonna have an extra turn anyway. So now Louis has to. Okay, he would have had to counter it and face one more turn from Hugo while he was full tapped, but he just decided to go to game 2. So 1-0 for Hugo and his mono card advantage deck. And well, that's with the 20 HP metagame, you have a really tempo-oriented metagame, and choices are really tempo-oriented. For example, the 1 mana removals are really important, and that's why it's so huge to have 4 colors to find more useful 1 mana removals. And that's why also Ray and Bruce is so strong, because you have 2 impacting low-cost commanders directly in your hand, whatever happens. And you can just play the elves thanks to the green and start spamming boss commanders, go really fast, and have cheap removals. That's what makes the deck's strength. On the other side, in the 30 HP metagame, the tempo is pretty much irrelevant, because you have the 10 more HPs that just buy you so much time, and you can play so many great cards to get rid of any tempo issues, tempo pressure, that it pretty much all revolves on the card advantage. You can see that because one of the great examples is that the Moxes, Mox Diamond and Mox Chrome Mox, aren't even that good in the 30 HP metagame, because it costs you 1 card, and each card is important, and the tempo generally won't be that important in the game to allow you to win. So many players don't even play it in decks like Jace or Baral. Whereas in the 20 HP metagame, it even had to get banned because it was just far too strong, and it could win games by itself. So here you can see that both of the decks in the finals and even in the top 8 are mono card advantage decks. On the left you have Baral with well, tons of drone giants. So he's even playing Blue Sun Zenith and probably Stroke of Genius and many cards like that, because he has to play most of the great drone giants in blue. I think that in the 20 HP metagame, you don't play Blue Sun Zenith, you don't play Stroke of Genius. Some of the lists don't even play Proof from Tomorrow, because you don't have time for that. And you can kill with Emerald real fast, and you have to go fast anyway. And on the right, you have Vial Kraum, which is clearly trying to win by the card advantage from both commanders, and Kraum can generate some card advantage by his ability. Just the fact that you have two commanders can allow you to make some card advantage. You just play them over and over again until the opponent runs out of gas, and then you kill it with, well, anyway, one more commander cast, a planeswalker. You don't care. Once he has nothing in hand, you just get to control the game. You play everything you want, and that's what happened during the semifinals, where he just played some drone giants, spammed his commanders, and managed to grind the matchup. So Classic turned to Brainstorm into Fetch, so he can keep only the best cards in his hand. So as we said earlier, it's really a matchup in which card advantage and lands are the most important thing, because the lands will allow you to win the counterspell battles, while the card advantage will make sure that you win the counterspell battles, and you don't run out of gas and just lose the game because you can't answer to your opponent's threats. So both players will try to, if Hugo doesn't have any way to both play Baral and fetch a Miracle, Luis Deltour can maybe take some risks and play his commanders and try to make some card advantage. But the issue, as we saw during the previous game, is that he can't even tap out, because he's going to run into cards like Future Sight, Velcon Shackles, and cards that really he can't handle that easily, and that can crush his deck. With Velcon Shackles on the board, he can't spam his commanders, and all of his win conditions are unavailable, pretty much all of them, at least, because he still has some planeswalkers. And with Future Sight, he's just getting buried under the card advantage, and card advantage is what rules the matchup. So it just can't happen. He must prevent that from happening. So that's a turn 3, about turn 4 Vial. He still can play Vial at that point, because it would cost 2 to play Baral and 3 to play Polymorphism and get Miracle. So he has one more turn before having to face the Baral kill or the Future Sight. And he can manage maybe to get rid of the Velcon Shackles, because he has some other artifact management, artifact removals in red.
So
he doesn't have any.
Smash out the fierce hits, so this is going to be changing the game so far.
Yeah.
And Baral for 4. Ooh.
Yeah, and he also had a 1 mana removal for Baral, and that's interesting to say also, because he knew that if he was tapped out, he would have to face the Baral. And now
first of all, Hugo doesn't have much pressure. He can lose this game. He doesn't lose the final, but he's going to try to sneak out, I think. He's going to try to sneak out.
So both players are starting to spam their commanders. Response peak, he's going to see his hand, draw one, and maybe find a removal spell. Because as long as Baral is done on the battlefield, and Hugo doesn't have 15 lands, like what happened during the previous game, it's going to be hard for him to win. And yes, indeed, on the Unscale, it's the second game.
Yep.
Hugo won the first one and not Luis, so I'll just say that to Guillaume that okay, so he just switched this off. Nice. So yeah, 1-0 for Hugo. He managed to sneak Velcon Shackles on the board to prevent Luis from spamming his commanders, and Future Sight also. So he started burying Luis under the card advantage, and at some point he had 15 manas and just played the Miracle right from his hand. And at that point, Luis had to counter Miracle and well, win the conspel battle against Emrakul. While I think he knew that Hugo still had Force of Will in hand, and even if he managed to counter the Emrakul, Hugo would have one full turn thanks to the ability on cast to play more threats, maybe get back the Emrakul, I don't know. And we just said, okay, I'm done with it. I don't have anything in hand anymore. Let's go to game 2. So now both players managed to get their commanders on the board, and will probably try to get their opponent's commander out of it. Now Baral costs 6, and that's really interesting. That's really nice for Luis because he fears Baral just because it's some tempo advantage, quality advantage, and it's one of his way to kill thanks to polymorphism. Now he has his commander on the board, and his opponent's commander costs 6. So it's a sweet spot, I have to say. He just needs to hope that his opponent is not doing too many crazy things. Now he has a full turn without any counterspell on for him. But I don't see any relevant spells in Hugo's hand. I see drone giants like Source from Ledge. I see counterspells.
Jace Ingenuity.
Yeah, Jace Ingenuity. I think spells now.
Ooh, Logic Knot and that. How many cards left in Louis' hand? 5? 4?
I think it's 5.
No, it's 3 now. Oh. That's
who's winning? So it's 1-0 for
knots.
Hugo. And for that game, we don't know. But Luis is still in a sweet spot because he has his commander on the board, and Baral costs 6, and he's going to deal a lot of damage thanks to Logic Knot. So that's if he removes all 9 cards, that's 11 cost Logic Knot.
He did.
So that's okay, 12 damage directly in Hugo's face.
The brilliance of Vial Smasher the Fierce, all in arms.
And
Yay,
that's why
gameplay.
Vial is still good with 30 HPs.
Well, especially if you take the opponent's HP 15 by 15 is obviously good.
Yeah.
It's just as good as taking them 10 by 10 in 12 matches. So
you have some just playing a Force of Will or Kraum deals some nice damage, but if you manage to play Logic Knot or Flash of Insight, or maybe there are some others in his list, it's just GG. And I think that's what just happened here. He played one more damage spell, and Hugo just conceded, and they are going to game 3. And yeah, it's still a best of 3, not the best of 5. Even if it
let's start cool. At 3. That's probably enough before. I would like to go to work tomorrow. So no, we won't, because we are here until the end of time, my friend.
Well, if you go to the same as game 1 and doesn't even try to kill with Emrakul, that could happen.
Let's be optimistic.
You know that you just left and I was here? No, please kill. Please don't let me here. Don't leave me here watching with the blue forever.
Turn 1, Mox. Turn 2, Vial Smasher. But the thing is, he's not starting the game, so... Oh gosh, a mulligan on the left! Woo! That is incredible.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
That is incredible.
In
I wouldn't expect that.
Well, it's a mono blue deck, so and in that matchup you just need your lands and maybe one spell. And well, lands are so important that
on Louis' hand. There's a duress on Louis' hand, so that's going to be a really tough start.
It's hard to keep full lands hands against black because he can easily check your hand and see that you have nothing and start spamming. But in fact, there are some people who like taking keeping 7 lands hands against control, because they know that they will just say land go, land go, land go, land go. And at some point they will have the advantage in terms of lands, and that will allow them to make more powerful stuff.
That's going to be
so I see disallow and 5 island. 4 island and no solar vision. Okay, so we just removed the drone giants, and
that was a decisive duress.
Yeah, because now he knows that the Baral player only has islands and counter spell that costs 3, so it will be a turn too late to counter Vial.
Everything's too late right now. But to me, this is a 2-1 for Luis, but who knows? I might be wrong.
Yeah. All top 8 decks were blue decks, and actually Master Monor also has blue, even if it doesn't play counter spells. So turn 2 nothing for Snable, but it should be a turn 3 Var Smasher, and if he can have an answer to, well, he has an answer. That's an Ulcerate, I think. So yeah, that's a removal for Baral, and directly, yeah, Ulcerate, he just slots 3, which is nice in that format because it reaches many targets and you don't care that much about the HPs, unlike in 20 HPs. So now he has Vial on the board, and well, that's a nice start. And after an Impulse, he has to find a solution. He plays Order of Succession, he plays Treachery. I don't know if he plays Mind Harness. It's way less good in 30 HP than it is in 20 HP, where the tempo is more interesting, and really most of the cards that you want to steal are red or green anyway. So now it will be turn 4. We want to recast Baral, or we have something more interesting to do. That's up to him.
And against command end of turn?
Maybe, or vanilla click, maybe. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's the color command indeed. I didn't see it.
It's Fact or Fiction.
Fact or Fiction response.
That's a heavy Fact or Fiction, actually. You got lots of stuff to separate now. And the Emrakul is actually good. You want the Emrakul into his hand, and it's not going to happen, so...
That's an interesting fact, because...
I would just... You know what? I would just make 5 and 0.
Why?
I would make 5 and 0. Because if Emrakul goes to his hand, he's not going to be able to discard it.
Yeah,
he's going to have to wait the end of turn, so he discards it and gets...
Yeah, but,
just to make sure
that he just killed Jesimat Sculptor, and he still put Emrakul in his hand, and just giving everything is just way too much. And I really think
I know. I was saying it's just for the fun. It's not a serious game. It's just not for the fun. You don't care. Because actually, he's got 4 cards now. So this is close to the same. So you have to isolate the obvious one you don't want to, which is only Jace versus nothing.
And
Judge Increments.
Yeah, because they want to play Misdirection. Well, Hugo wants to play Misdirection on the Color Guns command to redirect it to Luis, and they are asking if that can be done or yes or not. Because I guess he chose discard and deal 2.
He can. I think he can.
But that means that he had 2 targets, which are, well, him and him, but it's still 2 separated targets, I guess. So I don't know what the judges will say and how it will end up.
You didn't even ask apart from the table. Like, just I got Misdirection in the hand. What I do? So yeah, that's what.
Okay, so we're still waiting for the judge's decision, I guess. Go ahead, please. Want some action? Fast.
They're asking the judge still. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing happening. So okay, the judge just left to ask another judge.
Yeah, I think they want some clarification.
Misdirection clearly says with a single target. So if there are multiple targets, maybe they're not sure because there are two of the abilities ask for target, but it shows ego as the target for both. So maybe they are asking themselves whether it's two targets or a single target in that particular situation. Maybe that's what is a bit tricky for them, and that's why the judge asked for the confirmation.
Yeah, the spell needs to have a single target. That's the wording of the card. You can change the. You cannot change the choices and the modes, but you can target if there is only one target.
Okay, so what's going to be the answer? Still waiting.
The answer is Patrick Chapin loses 2-1. No, that's not. Sorry, not a good game.
But tried. Patrick Chapin is actually quite entertaining to watch most of the time, especially when
I was
he
just referring the time in the finals of last year when he was just calling the judges and he had a word with Ricardo Testori for something like 15 minutes and everyone was having popcorns in front of their live streams. So
I would like the hello, Luis. I would like the game when he was playing Crew Control in Standard, and he was looking at the game and he was like, okay, considering that both state, we both know that the only way I win that game is if I win, if I draw Crew Ultimatum on top of my deck. So he's at his upkeep and he's taking all of his lands and putting 2 blue, 2 red, 3 black. I think that was it. And he's just putting it right on the board in front of his opponent. He sets all of his other lands aside, and he takes the top card of his deck and BAM! Smashes it on the board, and it's a Crew Ultimatum, and he wins the game.
So they called the head judge, who was in exile, pretty smoking outside.
What happened with misdirection? What happened is that Luis played Kolgan's command on the end of turn, and he said, I'm looking at your hand and dealing you 2 damage. And Hugo has...
He chose two targets. He chose to discard. What is the second lowest target? Did 2 damage target creature player and target player discard the cards?
Yeah, so he chose 2... well, he had 2 mods that required 2 targets, but both of the mods chose Hugo. So what they wanted to know was whether Hugo could play Misdirection on the spell or not, because Misdirection stays, it states change the target of a spell with a single target. And there are 2 occurrences of abilities asking for a target. So in fact, there are 2 targets. They weren't sure because both of the targets say Hugo, so maybe it could have became 1, or I don't know. So that was the main question, and the judge just said no, it doesn't work. So now he had to find something else. So now he's trying to play All of Succession, which run into a mana leak. Hugo just misdirection, played misdirection that time on the Malik, and Luis decided to kill his commander in response with Murderous Cut. And now I think it's Sotsies. Yeah, Sotsies. He's trying to prevent his opponent from making too many things. But now he's stuck at 3 lands. He missed many land drops.
And especially
he doesn't have his commander anymore.
He's stuck at 3 lands and 3 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot. So
that's the worst that could happen in the game. That's an Inquisition of Kozilek, maybe more exactly. So yeah, the worst that can happen in control matchup is that you don't play any drone giant and you go short in lands. You need both many cards in hand and many lands to be able to win the current spell battles. So now Hugo has the upper edge, and it's going to get worse and worse thanks to 4 cards drawn out of Deep Analysis.
Are we just witnessing a change of winds, really? Because that wasn't what the game looked like a few minutes ago.
Well, Luis was still stuck at 3 lands, so anyway, I don't think he would have managed to win just with Vial on the board, because he didn't even have a huge graveyard also. So he couldn't attempt a one-shot like he did the previous game with Logic Knot or Flash of Insight.
And he's even slamming with Baral.
Yeah. He knows that it's going to be really hard at that point.
Brainstorm. Do you want to counter that Brainstorm?
During the final, and that can be really frustrating. It's the final games. This will have huge influence on what he can earn as a DTC point and get back as prizes. And he's getting mana stuck, so yeah.
As crazy as it looks, if he mana leaked the Brainstorm, that would be game, but he's got the land now, so...
Oh my god, he's got the Vulcan Shaker on the board, so now
he's coming back so fast from hell. Oh my god.
Yeah, well, Assets wasn't really hell, because I think he had plenty of time to manage to deal with
I was assuming he would, that Luis would draw 1 or 2 lands, but really 0 is nothing.
Well, now he's starting to draw them, but it's just too late. Because Hugo is playing his. Well, he managed to have Baral on the board, even if it costed 6, I think. He just played Pool from Tomorrow.
And this is another insane Fact or Fiction.
Yeah.
What is it? God. Snapcaster Mage.
And that's exactly what he needed to try to come back. He needs to find his land and his drone giant. So he found 2 more lands. He found Fact or Fiction, and he even found a window to cast his Fact or Fiction. And now there are some more contrips to find his lands and drone giant, and he has a mystical cheating that is good, even if it's in the graveyard. Snapcaster Mage maybe for a counter spell or for Fact or Fiction. Oh my god, I really like the top. Okay, now it's a bit more tricky. Yeah, would definitely take the upper one, and that's what he does. Because Mystical Teaching is still 1 spell in the graveyard, so he's
and he can
taking 4 cards and leaving 2.
So that's a double comeback, 1 on each side, and that's actually cool to watch.
Oh yeah, but still, Hugo has many lands. He now plays Teferi, has Baral on the board, Vulcan Shakers, so he can prevent Luis from playing his commanders and killing Teferi, which was the one of the main problems, because he had some planeswalkers, but they were just useless as long as we had Vial or Kraum, because he could just constantly blast or snipe attack the planeswalker, and that's one of the strengths of that partner combination, because each time you play a spell, Vial can snipe a planeswalker, and it's hard to play around a commander with haste too. So again, that's a nice spot for Hugo. Now he's going to be able to play to draw 1 card a turn thanks to Teferi, and maybe make some also huge temple plays. While Louis still has only 5 lands on the battlefield for now, and he's going to play a 6-1. But 6 land is just not enough right now to take
still short, yeah, he's still short.
Yeah, and I think
he cannot play without his commanders. He cannot play. He cannot do anything. So
yeah, and I think his command just got exiled previously.
Teferi is going to be a massive draw engine right now is going to be crazy shit because trading one, bottom one in your hands.
Yeah, but
Just
that's what Baral does. You play Jason Sculptor, Teffer, Future Sight, and all of the huge X.
It's pure card advantage filtering. So
and after mystical teachings. I guess he just countered it. So he recycled the card thanks to Baral. Yeah, he played the Dispel.
Dragon's Call Summit is the battlefield on the right. So
Dispel is really nice with 30 HPs because it's going to be there are going to be many control mirrors, and even against the other decks, you can still reach a removal that would be played against Baral. So it's still nice, and many people are also considering it with some 20 HPs because there are so many removals in the format, and you need to counter some removals to protect Baral and get Emerald on the battlefield. That Dispel is great, and also Mental Misstep is huge in the 20 HP metagame because of all the removals for 1 mana, all the mana valves, all the discard. It reaches like a third of the format in 1 card, and it can cost 0. It can
just like in eternal formats, actually. That's why it's mostly forbidden in other formats.
Yeah, I don't know why so few people play it because, for example, I don't see many Tracer's Team now deck lists considering Mental Misstep, and I think the card is huge in the 20 HP format.
You play it on defensive decks. I play it on a fun deck, but I still have Arkham Daxon, because you want absolutely your commander to stay on the board whatever happens. And considering now the #1 card in 20 life is Lightning Bolt, you say this is an anti-Lightning Bolt, an anti-Swords to Plowshare, which is really huge by itself.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want.
The exact mirror is the anti-Fauces and the anti-green tutor and the anti-enlightened tutor. So this is cool as well.
The monster. So he's bouncing his own Teferi to probably play it back. Then a bit later.
So as not to lose it. Texas Street Beef F3, you are completely right. It got banned 3 weeks ago in Dual Commander, but this is not Dual Commander. This is Leviathan. This is another format that was created last year. So they're still authorized, and they're still low.
As latest police is saying in the chat, the idea is that they didn't have enough relevant statistics to take a decision before that about partners, Vial, and all of that. So they're waiting for the results of that tournament, which is one of the 2 biggest tournaments we've had in the Leviathan format during the whole year, I guess. So it's going to bring some relevant stats and insights about the format, and that's what the Leviathan committee wants to use.
As we just talked about this earlier in the day, but if you want statistics, there is nothing really separating this metagame from the rest. Today there were 77 players, and the most decks are in order: 6 Jace, and that's the maximum. 6 Jace, 5 Baral, 5 Animar. This is the utmost maximum. Then it's 4 Maelstrom Wanderer, and 3 Marath Will of the Wild, 3 Prosh. And there's another 1, 3 Queen Marchesa.
Well, that's really not the MTGO stats, but it can still be useful. But it's not really relevant in terms of you don't have enough decks, matches, players, and all of that to consider the data as relevant indeed. And about the score, that's 1-1, 1 for each player. So you go 1-1 the first game. By making just way too much advantage, and he had Future Sight and Dragon Shakers on the board that just it allowed him to lock Louis Deltour from managing to kill because he couldn't play his commanders, and it allowed also him to make tons of card advantage and take the lead. The second game was won by Luis. He managed to get Baral off the board and get his commander and made a one-shot thanks to Vial Smasher and the huge Logic Knot for something like 30 damage using Vial Smasher's ability. And now Luis Deltour was starting really well with a Vial Smasher on the board and a slight lead. He managed to kill Baral twice, so Baral started costing 6. That was huge. But then he was mana screwed. He had only 3 on the board and wasn't drawing any more lands or draw spells. So Baral managed to kill Vial Smasher in a removal battle because he wanted to take it with Order of Succession, and Louis had to kill his own commander, and all that allowed him to get way more time, play his Drone Giants, draw his lands, play Baral once more, play Vial Shakers, and for now, Louis Deltour came back really well. He managed to draw some more lands and find a window to play Fatal Fiction and come back in the game. So now it's still hard for him because there's Baral on the board, there's Vial Shakers locking him, and Hugo is making tons of card advantage and trying to take the lead. But it may, he may manage to come back.
And he doesn't even have a chance to play a single spell, so that's going to be complicated.
Yeah,
I think this one he's gonna play it until the end, until he sees the big fatty once again. So he wants to face Emrakul. He wants to see the spaghetti man still saying like, "Dude."
Yeah,
you don't lose until you see the face of a spaghetti field. So
Hugo is killing thanks to Emrakul, which he can play for 15, like in the first game, or fine with.
Actually, excuse me, Leo, but he's killing thanks to Baral right now. He's been dealing more than 15 damage with Baral.
Yeah,
that's very important. 21 is a win.
Yeah, he can win with Baral. He can win with the.
I'm not even sure they are tracking how much Baral did. I'm not even sure they did. Look, on the sheet, he's just tracking how much life loss there is, but I don't see him tracking Baral's damage. So. Yeah, I think it's going to be concurrently. It's going to be happening at the same time. If Baral kills, it's going to be both on total life and commander damage. So, because he fetched a lot, he used an untap Revlon that starts. So,
yeah. So that's a counterspell battle between the two. Hugo is trying to play Teferi, and Louis is trying to counter it with a Logic Knot. What is interesting here is that Luis had to use both Flash of Insight and Logic Knot and remove many cards from his graveyard. So now it's going to be really hard for him if he wants to pull out a one-shot from Vial. But on the other hand, Hugo only has 18 HPs. So,
Fire Blast!
Yeah, he can manage to win through other means just by the beatdown for his commander. And maybe he's playing something like Radler's Return to.
And look at Hugo's hands, it's crazy. Look at Hugo's hands. You don't want to be facing that hand. Even at start, you don't
Hugo
want to.
has like 1,000 cards in hand, 40 counterspells, while
12
Luis is
mana
struggling
on
with
board.
his lands, with his
12 mana on
hands.
board plus Teferi. That's a netcastable Emrakul. So good luck, have fun. I would say good luck, have fun.
Temple. One card in hand. He cannot play his commanders. Yeah, so it's GG. So 2-1 for Hugo. GG. We have the champion for the. So
Leviathan
Baral
side commander
first.
and this Mr. Hugo.